Hello there, and welcome to the Somnus Sleepy Science channel. I am so glad you have found your way here tonight. Maybe it has been a long day, filled with noise and deadlines. Or maybe you are simply the kind of person who finds comfort in the quiet corners of the universe, preferring to fall asleep thinking about distant planets and drifting moons rather than counting sheep. Whatever brought you here, know that you have arrived at a sanctuary. Tonight's journey is entirely for you. There are no expectations here, no lists to check off, and nothing you need to do but rest. Before we drift deeper into tonight's gentle journey, remember to subscribe to Somnus Sleepy Science. Here, you will always find peaceful stories that soothe the heart and quiet the mind. Where are you listening from tonight? Leave a comment. Your presence adds warmth to this quiet corner of the night. Now, let us begin the process of letting go. Find a position that feels kind to your body. Adjust your pillows, pull the blanket up to your chin, and allow yourself to sink into the mattress. Imagine that the bed beneath you is rising up to meet you, supporting every muscle, every bone, every heavy thought. Let your breath slow down. Inhale deeply, filling your lungs with the cool, calm air of the night, and then exhale, letting your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let your jaw unhinge slightly. Let your forehead smooth out. Feel your body grow light, lighter than air, as if gravity has loosened its grip on you. You are no longer bound by the weight of the earth. You have begun to float. Tonight, we are going to drift gently through the solar system. We will not move in a straight, hurried line, for in space, there is no need to rush. Instead, we will move in soft spirals, drifting like a leaf on a slow river, moving from sun-licked planets and dusty rings to shadowed craters and frozen oceans hidden beneath the ice. This is a story told not in numbers or harsh data, but in magnetic storms that shimmer like curtains, in tilted axes that create endless seasons, and in moons that glow in the dark. From sideways worlds to diamond rains, from ancient sunlight still crossing the void to the silent pause of deep space. Every orbit holds something strange and beautiful. We will go slowly, gently, just one sleepy fact at a time. Close your eyes and imagine the room around you is fading away. The walls dissolve into a soft, velvety darkness. The ceiling opens up, revealing a sky so deep and so clear that it feels like a vast ocean of indigo. You are rising, slowly, effortlessly, lifting off the ground and floating up into the embrace of the night. As we float here, suspended in the soft, endless velvet of the cosmos, allow your mind to expand. We often think of space as a cold, empty void, a place of stark nothingness. But tonight, let us reimagine it. Let us see it as it truly is, a vast, breathing environment filled with mist and light and quiet currents. Consider where we are. Our entire solar system, the sun, the earth, all the planets we know and love is not sitting still. We are moving. We are sailing. Like a great cosmic ship, our solar system is drifting through a region of the Milky Way known as the local interstellar cloud. It is a beautiful name for a beautiful phenomenon. Imagine a thin, tenuous concentration of gas and dust stretching about 30 light years across. It is not a storm. It is more like a morning fog, a galactic mist that we are passing through. This cloud is a whisper of the universe's history, formed perhaps by ancient stars that bloomed and faded eons ago, leaving behind this fine dusting of matter. And we are sailing through it. The sun, our captain, travels at nearly 7,000 kilometers per hour relative to this cloud, guiding us through the haze. But you do not feel this speed. You only feel the stillness. To be here is to be inside a bubble of protection, surrounding our solar system. Pushing back against this interstellar fog is the heliosphere. Visualize it as a massive, invisible, magnetic bubble blown by the sun. It is our shield. It stretches far beyond Pluto, far beyond the Kuiper Belt, creating a safe harbor in the vast ocean of the galaxy. The solar wind, a steady stream of particles from the sun, flows outward in all directions, inflating this bubble, keeping the heavier, more energetic particles of the galaxy at bay. We are cocooned inside this magnetic embrace. It is comforting to know that we are not exposed to the harshness of the deep universe. We are traveling in a protected vessel, a warm pocket of space drifting through the mist. As we float here, looking down at the solar system from high above, it looks peaceful. The planets are not racing. They are dancing. They move in their elliptical paths, a grand, silent waltz that has continued for over 4 billion years. There is a rhythm here. Can you feel it? It is slower than a heartbeat, deeper than the tide. It is the rhythm of gravity, the invisible threads that bind everything together. The sun pulls the planets pull their moons, and even the smallest asteroids exert their tiny, faint tug on the fabric of space. It is a web of connection. Nothing is truly alone here. Every object, no matter how distant, is held in place by the rest. Let us drift closer to the center now. We move effortlessly, propelled only by our curiosity and the desire for rest. Ahead of us lies the anchor of our world, the sun. But do not fear its heat. From this distance, and in this dreamlike state, the sun is not a blinding fire. It is a glowing ember, a warm hearth in the center of a dark room. It dominates the darkness, holding over 99% of all the mass in the solar system. Think of that weight. Almost everything that exists in our neighborhood is contained within that sphere of light. The Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, all the comets and asteroids combined. They are just the tiniest fraction, less than 1/4%. We are merely the dust motes dancing in the light of this great star. And yet, despite its immense power, the sun is gentle with us tonight. It vibrates. Did you know the sun rings like a musical instrument? Though we cannot hear it with our ears, the sun is constantly singing. Pressure waves ripple through its blazing layers, rising and falling currents of plasma that generate ultra-low frequency sounds. It is a hum, a deep, resonant ohm that permeates the solar system. Scientists call this helioseismology, the study of the sun's song. If you could translate that vibration into sound we could hear, it would be a low, steady thrum, a white noise of the cosmos that lulls the planets to sleep. It is the sound of energy being born, deep inside the core, where the pressure is unimaginable. Hydrogen is fusing into helium. It is a process of transformation. The sun is sacrificing a tiny part of itself every second to create light. It converts millions of tons of its own mass into energy, radiating it outward to warm our faces, to grow our food, to drive the winds. Let us pause here and think about that light. The light that warms your skin on a summer day, the light that brightens the moonlit, has a journey of its own. We are taught that light takes 8 minutes to travel from the surface of the sun to the earth. But the story of that light begins long before it leaves the surface. Deep in the core, a photon is born. It is a tiny packet of energy, but the core is so dense, so crowded with atoms, that the photon cannot move in a straight line. It bounces, it collides, it is absorbed and re-emitted over and over again. It dances a chaotic, crowded dance inside the heart of the star. It can take tens of thousands, perhaps even hundreds of thousands of years, for that single spark of light to work its way from the center to the surface. Think of that journey. The sunlight you saw today, the light that woke you this morning, is ancient. It was created when early humans were just beginning to paint in caves, or perhaps even before that, when the earth was in an ice age. It has been wandering inside the sun for eons, waiting for its moment to be free. And then, finally, it breaks through the surface, rushes across the void of space, and in just 8 minutes, it arrives to touch your hand, a touch that has been thousands of years in the making. There is a profound intimacy in that. The universe is not disconnected from us. It is touching us with history, with ancient energy, every single day. As we drift slightly away from the sun, moving into the cooler shadows, we encounter the first traveler on this orbital path, Mercury. It is a small world, scorched and silent. We often think of Mercury as simply a hot rock, burnt by its proximity to the star. But there is a ghostly beauty here if you look closely. Mercury does not have a true atmosphere. It cannot hold onto thick clouds or winds like Earth. Instead, it has something more delicate. It is a thin, tenuous shell of particles of potassium, and oxygen that have been blasted off the surface by the solar wind and micrometeoroids. Because the air is so thin, the atoms here do not behave like a gas on Earth. They do not flow or swirl together. Instead, they bounce. They leap from the surface, soaring up into the black sky on ballistic trajectories, and then fall back down like tiny, invisible stones. They rarely collide with one another. Each atom dances alone. Imagine standing on the surface of Mercury, looking up. You would not see a blue sky. You would see the eternal black of space, even during the day, and surrounding the planet, invisible to the naked eye, but glowing to the instruments of spacecraft, is a comet-like tale of these dancing atoms. Streaming away from the sun, it is a ghostly envelope, a shimmering aura of scattered particles. And in this near vacuum, there is silence, absolute silence. There is no wind to rustle, no storms to howl, just the silent leaping of atoms and the intense contrast of light and shadow. Mercury is a world of extremes, yes, but in that extremity there is a stillness. As the planet rotates so slowly, the shadows stretch across the craters. Deep within these craters, at the north and south poles, there are places where the sun never shines. The walls of the craters are steep, casting permanent shadows across the floors. And in these eternal shadows, despite the proximity to the inferno of the sun, there is ice. Water, ice, frozen, solid, preserved for millions of years in the dark. It is one of the solar system's quiet paradoxes, ice in the heart of the fire. It likely arrived there on the backs of ancient comets travelers from the cold outer edges that crashed into the young planet. The water they carried was trapped in these cold traps, locked away in the darkness, shielded from the relentless solar blaze. It is a beautiful thought, isn't it, that even in the hottest, harshest places, there are pockets of cool, hidden sanctuary, places where things can be preserved, untouched by the chaos outside. As we float past Mercury, we leave the heat behind. We drift outwards, following the spiral arm of our journey, moving towards a world wrapped in clouds and mystery. The space between the planets is not empty. As we glide through the silence, visualize the dust, cosmic dust, tiny grains of rock and ice, remnants of comets and asteroids floating in the void. Occasionally, one of these specks hits the Earth's atmosphere and becomes a shooting star, a fleeting wish in the night sky. But out here, they simply float. They sparkle faintly, catching the distant sunlight like motes of dust in a sunbeam in a quiet library. We are moving towards Venus now, the morning star, the evening star. It shines so brightly in our sky because of its thick, reflective clouds. But tonight, we are not just looking at it. We are sinking into its slow, heavy rhythm. Approaching Venus, the first thing you notice is the color. A pale, creamy yellow, uniform and unbroken. These clouds hide the surface completely, wrapping the planet in a blanket of secrets. But we are interested in something else tonight. We are interested in its time. Venus is a rebel. It spins backwards. On almost every other planet, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. But on Venus, the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. And it does so with agonizing slowness. Venus spins so lazily on its axis that its rotation is almost imperceptible. It takes 243 Earth days for Venus to spin once, just once. Meanwhile, it only takes 225 days for the planet to travel all the way around the sun. Think about what that means. A day on Venus lasts longer than a year on Venus. Let that concept sink in. A day longer than a year. The sun hangs in the sky for months at a time, creeping inch by inch across the horizon. There is no rush here. The concept of running out of time does not exist. The schedule is gone. The deadline has dissolved. If you lived on Venus, you would have a day that stretches out like a vast, endless ocean. You could watch a sunset for weeks. It is a world of slow motion. The atmosphere is thick and heavy, creating a pressure that would feel like being deep underwater. But in our imagination, this heaviness is not crushing. It is grounding. It is like a weighted blanket, pressing down with a firm, comforting embrace, silencing the noise, slowing the heart. The winds in the upper atmosphere whip around the planet at incredible speeds, circling the globe in just 4 days. But down near the surface, the wind is barely a whisper. It moves at the speed of a slow walk, a gentle breeze that pushes against the dense air, stirring the dust of a world that has been hidden for eons. Venus teaches us that there is no correct way to move. You can spin backward. You can spin slowly. You can take your time. In the cosmic dance, being slow is not a flaw. It is simply another rhythm. We drift away from the golden haze of Venus, carried by the invisible current of gravity. We are moving outward, past the blue marble of Earth. We will return to her later, for she is the final destination of all our dreams and towards the rusty red silence of Mars. Can you see it approaching? A soft ochre point of light growing into a sphere of desert and ice. Mars, the world. As we drift closer to Mars, the color of the night changes. The deep, infinite black of space begins to blush, tinged with a soft, warm ochre. This is the red planet, though up close, it is more like the color of dried cinnamon or the rich, rusted earth of a desert canyon at sunset. It hangs in the darkness like a suspended jewel, quiet and unmoving. Let us descend gently. We are weightless, remember. We do not crash. We settle. We drift down through the thin, rose-colored atmosphere, like a feather falling in a quiet room. The air here is thin and cold, but in our journey, we feel only the stillness. Below us stretches a landscape of ancient grandeur. There are no cities here, no forests, no oceans crashing against the shore. There is only rock and sand and silence. It is a silence that has lasted for billions of years. Imagine a desert that has not heard a footstep in eons. That is the peace of Mars. We drift over the equator, and the ground opens up beneath us. This is Vallis. To call it a canyon is to underestimate it. It is a colossal scar, a vast opening in the crust that would stretch across the entire width of a continent on Earth. If you were standing on one rim, the other side would be far beyond the horizon, lost in the hazy distance. On Earth, canyons are carved by rushing rivers, by the noisy, insistent force of water cutting through stone over millions of years. But here, scientists believe the ground simply opened up. The planet took a deep breath, its crust cracked and pulled apart, and then it froze. It is a geological sigh, frozen in time. Drift down into the canyon now. The walls rise up on either side of you, kilometers high, layered with the history of the world. The sunlight here is weaker than on Earth, distant and pale, casting long, soft shadows that stretch across the valley floor. In the morning light, frost coats the rock's carbon dioxide frost that sparkles like diamond dust before sublimating back into the thin air as the sun climbs higher. Everything here is still. The rocks have settled into their places and have not moved. There is a profound sense of rest in this landscape. It is a world that has finished its tumultuous youth and has settled into a long, quiet hibernation. Occasionally, the wind picks up. It is not a gale, but a soft sweeping. Mars is famous for its dust. The surface is covered in fine iron oxide, a powder as soft as talcum and red as rust. When the wind breathes, this dust lifts into the air. It does not fall quickly like sand. It floats. It hangs suspended in the atmosphere for weeks, creating a soft, reddish glow that diffuses the sunlight. Imagine standing there, wrapped in a gentle haze of copper-colored light. The sky above is a dusty pink during the day, fading to a soft blue just around the sun at sunset, a reversed sky compared to our own. It is a lonely beauty, yes, but it is not sad. It is the beauty of solitude. It is the beauty of a place that is content to simply be. High above this rusty world, two tiny companions drift in the dark, Phobos and Deimos. They are the moons of Mars, but they do not look like our round, bright moon. They are small, lumpy, shaped like potatoes or weathered river stones. They are likely captured asteroids, wanderers from the belt that strayed too close and were gently caught by Mars's gravity. They are quiet passengers, Phobos orbits so close and so fast that it rises and sets twice a day. Deimos, smaller and more distant, drifts lazily among the stars, looking like nothing more than a bright, moving point of light. They circle their host in silence, ancient travelers who found a home. We bid farewell to the rusty plains and the sleeping canyons. We lift up, rising through the thin pink haze, back into the clarity of deep space. We are moving further out now, leaving the inner solar system behind. Ahead of us lies a region often misunderstood, the asteroid belt. In movies, this is a place of chaos, a crowded field of tumbling rocks where spaceships must dodge and weave to survive. But the reality of space is far more spacious, far more serene. The asteroid belt is not a wall of rock. It is an ocean of emptiness. It is vast. It stretches for millions of kilometers between Mars and Jupiter. There are millions of asteroids here, yes, ranging from dwarf planets to tiny pebbles. But space is so immense that these objects are separated by enormous distances. If you were standing on an asteroid in the middle of the belt, you would likely see nothing, no other rocks nearby, just the starry blackness. Your nearest neighbor might be thousands of kilometers away, invisible to the naked eye. Drifting through the asteroid belt is the loneliest, most peaceful part of our journey. It is like floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on a calm night, with no land in sight, just the dark water stretching out forever. Occasionally, we might pass a solitary wanderer. Imagine a rock the size of a mountain, tumbling slowly in the dark. It has no air, no sound. It is a relic, a leftover brick from the construction of the solar system. It has been drifting here for 4.5 billion years, untouched, unchanged. Some of these asteroids have their own tiny moon's little pebbles orbiting larger rocks, gravitational partners holding hands in the dark. It is a reminder that even in the vastness, relationships exist. Gravity binds things together. Dominated by the silence is Ceres, the queen of the belt, a dwarf planet, round and solitary. It is a dark world, but bright spots of salt gleam on its surface, remnants of briny water that bubbled up from below. It sits in the darkness like a secret, holding the history of the early solar system in its icy crust. We move past these silent sentinels. The sun is growing smaller behind us now. It is no longer a blazing disk, but an intensely bright star, casting sharp, cold light across the void. We are crossing the threshold into the outer solar system, the realm of giants. As we leave the rocky worlds behind, the sense of scale shifts. Everything becomes larger. The distances between planets stretch out, becoming vast gulfs of silence. Ahead of us, emerging from the dark, is the king, Jupiter. It is colossal. It is more than a planet. It is a solar system unto itself. As we approach, its gravity reaches out like invisible arms, welcoming us into its domain. But we are safe. We are merely observers, drifting on the tide of our imagination. Jupiter is a world of clouds. Bands of cream, amber, ochre, and rust wrap around the planet, painted by winds that blow at hundreds of kilometers per hour. But from our high vantage point, we do not feel the wind. We see only the tapestry. It looks like a master painting, the colors blended and swirled by a giant brush. And there, watching us like a calm, unblinking eye, is the great red spot. It is a storm Yes, a hurricane twice the size of Earth. It has been churning for centuries, perhaps longer. Generations of astronomers have looked through their telescopes and seen this same spot. It is a storm so large, so enduring, that it has become a permanent feature of the landscape. It is a monument to stability within chaos. Surrounding this giant are its children. Jupiter has more than 90 moons, a swarm of worlds caught in its gravitational embrace. Let us look at just one, a world that whispers of hidden depths, Europa. It shines like a cracked marble in the reflected sunlight. Its surface is not rock, but ice, pure water ice, crisscrossed with dark reddish lines. These lines are cracks, ridges where the ice has shifted and settled. Europa is a frozen shell, but beneath that icy crust lies a secret, a vast global ocean of liquid water. There is more water on this small moon than in all of Earth's oceans combined. Think of that, a dark, salty sea, wrapped in a blanket of ice, hidden from the sun, kept warm by the gentle squeezing of Jupiter's gravity. It is a world waiting to be understood. Deep in those waters, there is no sunlight, but there is heat, there is movement. It is a reminder that life, or at least the potential for it, does not always need the sun. It can exist in the dark, nurtured by the warmth of the planet itself. It is a comforting thought that warmth can be found in the deepest, coldest places if you know where to look. We drift past Europa, leaving the giant Jupiter behind. Its gravity gives us a gentle push, a gravitational assist, sending us further out into the dark. We are traveling deeper now. The light is dimmer. The shadows are longer. We are approaching the jewel of the solar system, Saturn. If Jupiter is a painting, Saturn is a sculpture. It is elegant, it is poised, and it is adorned with the most beautiful structure in the heavens, its rings. From a distance, the rings look solid. They look like a disk of polished gold or a sheet of translucent glass. But as we drift closer, floating softly towards them, the illusion breaks, and something even more magical is revealed. The rings are not solid. They are made of billions of individual particles, countless pieces of ice, some as small as a grain of sugar, others as large as a house. They are all floating together, orbiting the planet in a perfectly flat plane. Imagine drifting right into the rings. You are surrounded by floating ice sculptures. They sparkle in the faint sunlight. Some are pure white, reflecting the stars. Others are dusted with rock. They drift past you in silence, a river of ice flowing endlessly around the planet. And amidst this river, there are the shepherds, small moons, tiny guardians that orbit within the rings. Their gravity is just enough to keep the ice particles in line. If a piece of ice strays too far, the shepherd moon gently tugs it back. They maintain the order. They keep the gaps clear. They are the silent caretakers of this celestial garden. There is a theory that the rings are temporary, that they are falling slowly, like a gentle rain, into Saturn's atmosphere, that in a few 100 million years, a blink of an eye in cosmic time, they might be gone. This thought does not bring sadness. Instead, it brings a sense of preciousness. We are lucky. We are here in this precise moment of history to witness this beauty. The universe is constantly changing, arranging, and rearranging itself. Nothing stays the same forever, and that is okay. The rings are here for us now, a shimmering spectacle of ice and light. Let us float here, for a moment, suspended above the golden clouds of Saturn, watching the rings turn slowly beneath us. The motion is hypnotic, round and round, a silent carousel. The atmosphere of Saturn itself is soft, muted gold. It is a gas giant, but unlike the turbulent stripes of Jupiter, Saturn appears calmer, more hazy. It is less dense than water. If you could find a bathtub large enough to hold it, Saturn would float. It is a giant puff of gas, held together by gravity, spinning in the dark. Take a deep breath. Can you feel the spaciousness? We are over 1 billion kilometers from home. The Earth is just a bright blue star in the distance now, barely distinguishable from the others. All your worries, all your lists, all the noise of your diet is all back there on that tiny dot. Here, there is only the slow rotation of the rings and the quiet hum of the cosmos. We are entering the deep outer realm now. The neighborhood is getting quieter. The sun is just a bright point of light, no longer providing warmth, only a faint, silvery illumination. We are moving towards the ice giants. These are worlds of mystery, blue, cold, and sideways. Uranus appears first, a pale blue-green orb, like a drop of aquamarine ink suspended in water. It is a world that rolls. While other planets spin like tops, Uranus lies on its side, its pole pointing almost directly at the sun. Why? Perhaps a long time ago, in the chaotic early days, it was knocked over by a massive collision, a cosmic nudge that changed its destiny forever. Now, it rolls along its orbit, a sideways world with a unique rhythm. Because of this tilt, the seasons here are extreme in length. 442 Earth years. One pole is bathed in continuous sunlight, while the other lies in total, unbroken darkness. Then, slowly, the planet moves along its orbit and the roles reverse. 42 years of day, 42 years of night. Imagine the patience of a winter that lasts for 4 decades. Imagine the slow, creeping return of the sun after a lifetime of darkness. Time here is measured not in hours, but in generations. It has rings too, though they are dark and faint, like charcoal lines drawn against the black sky. They are the shadows of rings, subtle and shy, compared to Saturn's glory. We drift past this rolling world, feeling the coolness of the deep space around us. The temperature is dropping. We are approaching the edge of the planetary realm, Neptune. It is a vivid, deep azure blue, a stunning color, rich and saturated. It looks like a sapphire hanging in the void. It is the windiest planet, though we hear no sound. High in its atmosphere, clouds of frozen methane whip around at supersonic speeds. But down deep, beneath those racing clouds, there is a strange and beautiful phenomenon predicted by science. Diamond rain. Diamond rain. It sounds like a fairy tale, a line from a lullaby sung to a child to help them drift off to sleep. But here, in the deep blue reaches of the solar system, science suggests it is real. Let your imagination sink into the atmosphere of Neptune and Uranus. We are leaving the surface behind, though there is no true surface here, only a gradual thickening of the mist. We are descending into the deep blue. The light from the sun, already faint at this distance, fades away completely. We are entering a world of eternal twilight, and then a soothing, heavy darkness. The pressure here is immense, but in our weightless journey, it does not crush us. Instead, It feels like a heavy blanket, tucking us in, holding us tight. It is a feeling of absolute security, like being swaddled in the very fabric of the planet. Deep within this atmosphere, the chemistry of the cosmos begins its magic. The air is rich with methane. Under the weight of the sky above, the methane molecules are squeezed. Gently but firmly, the carbon atoms are separated from the hydrogen. They cling to one another in the dark. They bond and they harden. In the silence of the deep atmosphere, they become crystals, diamonds. Imagine them forming not jagged, rough stones, but perfect, glittering gems. And then they begin to fall. A slow, silent shower of diamonds drifting down through the dense fluid of the planet's interior. It is a snowfall of precious stones. They catch the faint internal heat glow of the planet. They fall for thousands of kilometers, slowly settling toward the core. Imagine a layer surrounding the heart of the planet, a liquid ocean of carbon with diamond bergs floating in it, a secret treasury that no human eye has ever seen, and perhaps no human eye ever will. It exists simply for itself. It is beauty without an audience. There is something profoundly restful about that idea. In a world where we often feel the need to be seen, to be validated, to perform, these planets remind us that beauty does not require observation. The diamonds fall in the dark, whether we know about them or not. They are content in their brilliance, hidden beneath the clouds. We rise up now, leaving the glittering dark behind. We ascend through the layers of blue, lighter and lighter, until we break the surface of the clouds and emerge back into the starlight. We are drifting further outward. We have passed the giants. We are leaving the neighborhood of the planets we learned about in school. We are crossing the threshold into the third zone of the solar system. Ahead of us lies the Kuiper Belt. If the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter was a sparse ocean, the Kuiper Belt is a vast, frozen archive. It is a ring of icy bodies that circles the sun, stretching for billions of kilometers. This is the attic of the solar system. Here, the universe has stored the blueprints, the leftovers, the ancient building blocks that were never used to make a planet. These objects are fossils. They have been frozen here for over 4 billion years. They are time capsules, preserving the chemistry of the beginning. As we drift through this region, the silence deepens. The sun is now just a dazzlingly bright star in the distance. It provides light, yes, but very little heat. The shadows here are long and sharp. The temperature hovers near absolute zero, but it is not a menacing cold. It is a preserving cold. It is the cold that keeps things safe, that stops time from eroding history. Drifting past us are the dwarf planets, Makemake, Haumea, Eris. They are not merely rocks. They are worlds with their own stories. Haumea spins so fast it has stretched into the shape of a rugby ball, a cosmic egg tumbling in the dark. Eris is so reflective it shines brighter than snow, a perfect mirror bouncing the distant starlight back into the void. And then we see the most famous of them all, Pluto. For a long time, we thought Pluto was just a lonely dead rock at the edge of the map. But when we finally sent a spacecraft to visit, to simply fly by and say hello, we found something wonderful. We found a heart. On the surface of this distant, cold world, there is a vast plain of nitrogen ice, shaped unmistakably like a heart. It is smooth and bright, contrasting with the darker, cratered terrain around it. Astronomers call it Sputnik Planitia, but to the rest of us, it is simply Pluto's heart. This heart is not static. It is beating in its own geological way. The nitrogen ice here flows. It moves like the slow, majestic glaciers on Earth, but softer. It bubbles up from below, erasing ancient craters, smoothing out the skin of the world. It means that Pluto is active. It is reshuffling its surface, renewing itself in the dark. And underneath that frozen heart, there is a secret that warms the imagination. Evidence suggests that beneath the thick, icy shell of Pluto, there may be an ocean, a layer of liquid water, or perhaps slushy water, mixed with ammonia that has refused to freeze. How is this possible, so far from the sun? It is the warmth of the planet's core, the faint radioactive heat left over from its formation, trapped by the insulating blanket of ice above. Think of that, a hidden ocean wrapped in ice, surviving at the edge of the solar system. It is a testament to the resilience of warmth. It tells us that even in the coldest places, deep down, there is something fluid, something moving, something alive. We are all like Pluto, in a way. We may show a cool surface to the world, a frozen exterior to protect ourselves, but deep inside, beneath the layers, we all carry a hidden ocean, a place of warmth, of feeling, of movement that no one else can see. And that inner warmth is enough to sustain us, even through the longest winters. As we drift past Pluto, we look back toward the sun. It is smaller now, a pinprick of brilliance. The planets Earth, Mars, Jupiter, invisible, lost in the glare of the star. We are truly on the frontier, but we are not at the end. Not yet. The solar system does not end with a wall or a signpost. It fades. It feathers out into the galaxy. Beyond the Kuiper Belt, the space opens up even more. The objects become scarcer. We are entering the realm of the scattered disk, where icy wanderers travel on wild, elongated orbits. These are the long-period comets, the travelers that only return to the inner solar system once every few thousand years. They spend eons out here, drifting in the deep freeze. They are sleeping, waiting for a nudge, a gravitational whisper from a passing star or the galactic tide, to begin their long, slow fall toward the sun. When they do, they will wake up. They will grow tails of gas and dust, becoming spectacular streaks of light in Earth's sky. But for now, they are just silent, dark mountains of ice, floating in the peace of the outer dark. There is a sense of timelessness here. 1,000 years is nothing. 1,000,000 years is a brief afternoon. The hustle of our daily lives, the ticking of the clock, the urgency of the morning alarm. There is only the orbit, the slow, wide, majestic loop around the distant center. Let yourself match this rhythm. Your breath is the orbit. Inhale slowly, drifting out to the aphelion, the farthest point. Pause, and then exhale, swinging back in toward the center. There is no rush to finish the breath, just as there is no rush for the comet to finish its journey. We are approaching the heliopause now, the boundary. The sun breathes out a wind of particles, the solar wind, which creates a bubble around us. But out here, that wind runs out of steam. It clashes with the interstellar medium, the gas and dust that fills the space between the stars. It is a mixing zone, a cosmic shoreline where the solar wind slows down and piles up, like waves breaking against a beach. This is the edge of our home. Inside this line, we are in the solar system. Outside, we are in deep space. We have sent ambassadors here. The Voyager probes, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, tiny machines built by human hands, launched decades ago. They have crossed this line. They are out there right now, drifting in the interstellar silence. They carry golden records, discs engraved with the sounds of Earth, the sound of rain, the sound of a mother kissing a child, the sound of wind and whales and footsteps, music from different cultures, greetings in 55 languages. Imagine that golden record glinting faintly in the darkness. It is spinning silently on the side of the spacecraft. It is a message in a bottle, cast into the largest ocean of all. It is a gesture of hope, a declaration that we were here and that we found beauty in our world and that we wanted to share it. The Voyagers are moving away from us at thousands of kilometers per hour, yet they will not reach another star for tens of thousands of years. They are entering a solitude so profound we can barely comprehend it. But they are not lost. They are simply going further. They are extending the reach of our story. As you lie here, safe in your bed, part of you is out there with them. Your curiosity, your dreams, the sounds of your world, they are traveling among the stars. Let us pause at this boundary. Turn your gaze outward, away from the sun. What lies ahead? The Oort cloud. It is a theoretical shell, a vast, spherical cloud of icy debris that surrounds our solar system like a thick, frozen husk. It extends nearly a light year away. It is the true edge of the sun's gravity. It is a nursery of comets, a cloud of billions of icy fragments hovering in the uttermost darkness. It is like a womb, wrapping the solar system in a final layer of protection before the true emptiness begins. To look out into the Oort cloud is to look into the unknown. And tonight, the unknown is not scary. It is soft, it is velvet. It is a place where the mind can rest, because there is nothing to focus on, no details to analyze, just the endless, comforting dark. We have traveled so far, from the dancing dust of Mercury, past the slow rotation of Venus, through the rust of Mars, the storms of Jupiter, the rings of Saturn, the diamond rains of Neptune, and now to the icy heart of Pluto and the quiet edge of the sun's domain. Take a moment to feel the scale of this journey. You have expanded your mind to encompass a solar system. You have drifted billions of kilometers without leaving your room. And yet, despite the distance, gravity still holds. The sun, that tiny star far behind us, still holds onto Pluto. It still holds onto the comets in the Oort cloud. Its grip is gentle, faint, but it is unbreakable. It is a reminder of connection. No matter how far you drift, no matter how isolated you may feel, there is always a force holding you. You are tethered to the center. You are tethered to the light. You belong to this system. The universe is vast, yes, but it is also held together by invisible threads: gravity, magnetism, light, and perhaps something else. A quiet intention, a balance. As we hover here at the edge, looking back at the distant warmth of home, we realize something important. The darkness is not empty. It is filled with potential. It is filled with the quiet waiting of things that are yet to be discovered. The silence here is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of peace. It is a silence that cleanses. a silence that heals. Let the feeling of this vast, cool space wash over you. Let it soothe the tired muscles behind your eyes. Let it smooth out the tension in your forehead. You are floating in the great, wide calm. And in this calm, we can begin to turn back, not to rush home, but to simply acknowledge the journey, to acknowledge that we have seen the wonders, and now we are ready to rest. The stars around us are steady. They do not twinkle here as they do on Earth, because there is no atmosphere to disturb their light. They are steadfast, burning with a quiet, unwavering resolve. They are the night lights of the galaxy, watching over us as we drift. We are safe here, suspended between the solar wind and the interstellar breeze, a tiny speck of consciousness in a grand, beautiful machine. And as we prepare to let go of the images, to let the diamond rain fade, to let the ice of Pluto melt into our dreams, we carry with us one final thought from the edge, that even at the farthest reaches, even in the deepest cold, there is a heart, there is a rhythm, there is a quiet, enduring pulse of existence that never stops. You are part of that rhythm. Your breath is part of that pulse. Slowly, gently, let us begin the drift back, not physically, but in spirit. Let the vastness shrink down, wrapping around you like a warm blanket. The universe is big, but tonight, your bed is the perfect size. We have traveled to the very edge. We have stood at the shoreline of interstellar space, where the sun is nothing more than a bright star among millions. It is quiet here. It is peaceful. But now, it is time to turn back. We do not turn back with haste. There is no urgency in this journey. Think of it as a slow, wide turn of a great ship banking gently in the silence, letting the gravity of the inner solar system pull us home. As we begin our drift inward, let us pause to consider a movement we often forget. We tend to think of the sun as stationary, a fixed anchor while we spin around it. But the sun itself is a traveler, just as the moon orbits the earth, and the earth orbits the sun. The sun is orbiting the center of the Milky Way galaxy. It is moving at an incredible speed, yet the distance is so vast that it takes roughly 225 million years to complete a single circle. 225 million years. Astronomers called this a cosmic year. Think about that time scale. The last time the sun was in this exact spot in the galaxy, dinosaurs were just beginning to roam the earth. The continents were shaped differently. Flowers had not yet evolved. Since then, mountains have risen and fallen. Oceans have opened and closed, and countless generations of life have breathed and slept, all while the sun traced just one single arc of its journey. We are not sitting still in space. We are riding a carousel of light, sailing slowly and silently through the galactic arms, passing through clouds of ancient stardust and regions of clear, deep vacuum. We are on a voyage that is longer than we can comprehend, and that realization brings a strange comfort. We are part of a rhythm so long, so slow, that our daily worries simply vanish inside of it. With this sense of deep time wrapping around us, we drift back toward the realm of the planets. We pass the icy sentinels, Neptune and Uranus, waving goodbye to their blue mysteries. We are drawn toward the golden glow of Saturn once more. We visited its rings before, admiring their icy perfection. But Saturn has other secrets. Hidden among the rings and far beyond them is a family of moons. each one a world unto itself. Tonight, we will visit two of them, two sleeping giants of mystery. The first is Titan. As we approach Titan, we do not see craters or gray rock. We see a soft orange fuzz. It looks like a peach suspended in the darkness, warm and fuzzy at the edges. This is the only moon in the solar system with a thick atmosphere. In fact, its air is thicker than Earth's. If you were to descend through those orange clouds, you would feel a heavy, comforting pressure. The sky would turn from a deep apricot to a hazy, golden twilight. It is a world of perpetual dusk. The sun here is dim, diffused by the haze, casting a soft, flat light that casts no harsh shadows. And down on the surface, there is liquid, but it is not water. Titan is too cold for liquid water. Here, water is frozen, as hard as granite. Instead, the lakes and seas of Titan are made of liquid methane and ethane. Imagine standing on the shore of one of these alien Caesalogea mare or Kraken mare. The liquid is dark, almost black, reflecting the orange sky above. It is calm. The waves here are small and slow, rippling gently against a shoreline made of ice. It rains on Titan, too, but the rain falls in slow motion. Because the gravity is low and the atmosphere is thick, the droplets float down lazily like snowflakes or parachutes, taking their time to reach the ground. It is a slow, silent drizzle that feeds the dark rivers, which wind their way through valleys of ice before emptying into the silent seas. There is a profound stillness here, a world with familiar shapes: clouds, rain, rivers, coastlines, but built from alien materials. It is a mirror image of Earth, seen through a dream. It reminds us that nature repeats its patterns, even in the strangest of places. Liquid flows, gravity, peace settles. We leave the orange twilight of Titan and drift toward a brighter, whiter world. It is a stark contrast to Titan. Enceladus is pure, brilliant white. It is covered in fresh, clean ice, making it one of the most reflective objects in the solar system. It shines like a polished pearl in the sunlight. We drift toward the south pole of this tiny moon. Here, the ice is marked with long blue fractures. Scientists call them tiger stripes, and from these cracks, something magical happens. Geysers, jets of water vapor, and ice crystals are spraying out into space. They rise silently, towering plumes that catch the sunlight and glitter like fountains of diamonds. This is not a dead world. It is active. Beneath that frozen crust lies a warm, salty ocean. The gravity of Saturn squeezes and stretches Enceladus as it orbits, massaging its core, generating heat that keeps the water liquid. And so, the moon breathes. It exhales this water vapor into the void. Some of this ice falls back to the surface as snow, coating the moon in a fresh, white blanket. But some of it escapes. It drifts out and spreads around Saturn, forming the Earring, a faint, ghostly ring made entirely of the breath of Enceladus. It is a beautiful act of giving. The moon creates the ring. The planet holds the moon. It is a cycle of creation and connection that happens silently, day after day, year after year. As we float through the mist of these ice crystals, let yourself feel the lightness of it. You are mist. You are vapor. You are drifting in the gentle hold of a giant planet. The outer solar system is full of these hidden wonders. worlds of fire and ice, of orange mists and white plumes. But as we move inward, leaving Saturn behind, the light of the sun begins to grow warmer. It shifts from a distant star to a recognizable disk. We are crossing the Great Divide again, moving toward the asteroid belt. But this time, let us look at the space itself. Even the emptiness is not truly empty. It is filled with the zodiacal light. This is a faint, triangular glow that appears in the night sky just after sunset or before sunrise. It is caused by sunlight scattering off billions of tiny dust grains that float in the plane of the solar system. These are the leftovers of comets that have passed by, crumbling and leaving dusty trails. We are drifting through a sea of diamond dust. It is tenuous, almost invisible, but when the angle is just right, it glows. It is a reminder that even the things we leave behind, the dust of our past, the fragments of old memories can still catch the light and create something beautiful. Nothing is wasted in the universe. Everything is recycled. Everything is part of the glow. We are getting closer to home now. We can see Jupiter in the distance, a striped marble. We can see the red spark of Mars, and there, shining with a steady blue calmness, is Earth. But we are not ready to land yet. There is one more traveler we must acknowledge on this return leg: the comet. Occasionally, a visitor comes from the deep freeze of the Oort cloud, falling inward toward the sun. Imagine a mountain of ice and rock tumbling silently. As it gets closer to the warmth, it wakes up. The ice begins to sublimate, turning directly into gas. It forms a glowing atmosphere around the nucleus called a coma. And then, the solar wind, that breath of the sun we spoke of earlier, pushes against this gas. It creates a tail, a magnificent streaming tail that can stretch for millions of kilometers. But here is the secret of the comet's tail. It does not trail behind the comet like a cape. It points away from the sun, always away. When the comet is traveling inward, the tail follows it. But when the comet swings around the sun and begins to leave, the tail flies ahead of it. The comet is pushed outward, guided by the light. It is a lovely image to hold in your mind. No matter where the comet travels, it is always oriented by the sun. It always knows where the light is. Even as it heads back into the freezing dark, it acknowledges the warmth it leaves behind. We are like that, too. We may travel into the dark of sleep, into the unknown of our dreams, but we remain oriented by the light of our waking lives, by the love and the warmth that anchors us. Drift with the comet for a moment. Feel the freedom of that long, elliptical orbit. You are just passing through. You are a visitor to the inner warmth, gathering what you need before drifting back into the peaceful cool of your own rest. The solar system is a place of cycles, the spinning of the planets, the orbit of the moons, the return of the comets, the breathing of the sun, the rising and falling of the tides, and your breath is part of this. Inhale, the sun rises. Exhale, the sun sets. Inhale, the tide comes in. Exhale, the tide goes out. You are not separate from this machinery. You are made of the same stuff. The carbon in the diamonds of Neptune, the nitrogen in the heart of Pluto, the calcium in the shell of Enceladus is all the same stardust. You are the universe, experiencing itself as a human being for a little while, and right now the universe is tired. The universe wants to rest. Let the gravity of sleep pull you in. It is a gentle force. It does not force you. It invites you. It says, come here. Come back to the center. Rest your head. We are drifting past Mars now, waving a silent farewell to the rusty canyons. We are approaching the blue world, the water world, the only place in all this vastness where water flows freely on the surface, creating oceans and clouds and rain that washes everything clean. But before we touch down, let us hover in orbit around Earth. Let us look at our home from the outside. It is a blue marble swirled with white clouds. It looks fragile from up here. There are no borders visible, no lines on the map, just land and sea and ice. And on the dark side of the planet, the side facing away from the sun, we can see the lights, tiny, golden clusters of light, cities, towns, villages. Each one of those lights is a collection of people who are finishing their days just like you. People who are turning off their lamps, pulling up their covers, and closing their eyes. You are part of a wave of rest that is sweeping across the planet. As the earth turns, the night travels, bringing silence to one continent after another. You are joining a chorus of sleepers, a global community of dreamers. Up here, in the quiet of orbit, there is no noise. The chaotic signals of the world below do not reach us. There is only the hum of the magnetic field, the shield that protects us. And speaking of that shield, look toward the poles. Look at the north and the south. Do you see it? The aurora, ribbons of green and violet light, are dancing in the upper atmosphere. They shimmer and undulate like curtains blowing in a slow breeze. This is the breath of the sun interacting with the magnetic field of the earth. It is a cosmic conversation. The sun sends energy, and the earth catches it, transforming it into light. It is a silent display of beauty that happens even when no one is looking. It is happening right now, high above the clouds. Imagine those lights dancing over you, a protective, shimmering canopy. They are warding off the darkness, painting the night with color. Green for healing, violet for spirit, soft, glowing light that calms the mind. Underneath this canopy, the world is turning. The Pacific Ocean is vast and dark, a cradle for the moon's reflection. The mountains stand still and silent. The forests are breathing. Everything is in its place. The asteroid belt is drifting. The rings of Saturn are spinning. The heart of Pluto is beating. And you are here, safe, warm, and ready to drift down. Let us begin our final descent. Not falling, but settling, like a leaf drifting down to rest on the surface of a still pond. We float down through the exosphere, through the thin air, past the dancing auroras. We sink through the layers of the atmosphere, feeling the air grow thicker and warmer around us. We pass through the clouds, soft and misty. We drift over the sleeping continents. We find your corner of the world. We find your roof. We find your room. And we settle back into your body. You are safe now. You have returned to the harbor of your own bed, the gravity of Earth holding you gently against the mattress. But before we surrender completely to the heavy, sweet pull of sleep, let us cast our mind's eye upward one last time. Not to the distant edges of the galaxy, but to our nearest neighbor, our constant companion in the night. The moon, it hangs there in the sky, a silver lantern watching over the sleeping world. It is unusually large for a moon, No other rocky planet in the solar system has a companion quite like this, so big and so close. It stabilizes us. Over billions of years, its gravitational hand has steadied Earth's wobble, smoothing out our climate, creating the seasons, and guiding the rhythm of the tides. Imagine yourself standing on the surface of the moon right now. It is a world of absolute grayscale: white, gray, charcoal, and black. There is no blue sky here, only the infinite depth of space hanging directly overhead. And there is silence, a silence deeper than anything we can experience on Earth. Here, there is no air to carry sound. If a meteorite were to crash into the surface a mile away, you would feel the vibration through the soles of your boots, but you would hear nothing, no boom, no echo, just the silent shifting of dust. This silence is matched by a profound stillness. On Earth, the wind is always blowing, the water is always flowing, and the biology of the planet is constantly erasing the past. Footprints wash away in the tide. Buildings crumble, mountains slowly wear down. But on the moon, time behaves differently. There is no wind to scatter the soil. There is no rain to wash the stones. The surface is frozen in a state of perfect preservation. Think of the astronauts who walked there over 50 years ago. They stepped out of their landers and pressed their boots into the fine, charcoal-colored dust. They walked, they worked, and then they left. And those footprints are still there, right now, at this very moment, while you lie in your bed. Those boot prints are sitting perfectly undisturbed in the sea of tranquility. Every ridge of the sole, every slight depression in the dust, is exactly as it was half a century ago, unless a stray meteorite happens to strike that exact spot. Those footprints will remain there for 1 million years, 10 million years, perhaps even longer, long after the cities of Earth have changed, long after our names are forgotten. Those marks of humanity will still be there, crisp and clear, in the silent vacuum. There is something deeply comforting about that thought. We live in a world of constant flux, where things change so fast we can barely keep up. We worry about losing things, losing time, losing memories, losing our way. But up there, just a few days' travel away, is a place where nothing is lost, a place where a single moment can last forever. The moon is our memory keeper. It holds the history of the solar system in its craters, and it holds the history of our exploration in its dust. It is a stone library, quiet and enduring. Allow yourself to feel that lunar stillness. Let it settle into your chest. Imagine your own worries are like footprints in the sand on a beach. But unlike the moon, here the tide is coming in, the gentle tide of sleep. It washes over your thoughts, smoothing the sand, erasing the marks of the day, leaving your mind clean and open and peaceful. As we drift in this lunar calm, let us extend our awareness one final time, reaching out past the moon, past the planets we visited, into the deep, dark expanse we touched upon earlier. Out there, in the silence between the stars, is a tiny object, a machine built by human hands. Voyager. It was launched in the late 1970s, a time of bell-bottoms and disco, and it has been traveling ever since. It has flown past the storms of Jupiter, glanced at the rings of Saturn, and kept going. It has crossed the heliopause, that invisible border where the sun's wind dies down. It is now in interstellar space. It is the furthest human-made object from Earth. It is our ambassador to the void, but Voyager is tired. It has been working for nearly 50 years. Its nuclear power source, a warm heart of plutonium, is slowly decaying. The energy it produces is dropping year by year. To stay alive, the spacecraft has had to make sacrifices. The engineers back on Earth, the caretakers of this distant travel, have sent commands to turn off its instruments. One by one, the cameras were turned off decades ago. After taking that famous pale blue dot image of Earth, then the heaters were turned off. Then the plasma spectrometers. Voyager is going to sleep. It is entering a long, permanent hibernation. It is shutting down its senses to conserve its remaining warmth. It is narrowing its focus, doing only what is absolutely necessary, keeping its heart beating, and sending a faint, whisper-thin signal back to home. That signal takes over 20 hours to reach us, traveling at the speed of light. It is a faint pulse in the darkness. I am here. I am still here. Imagine that little craft, billions of kilometers away, drifting through the dark. It is cold out there, but Voyager is designed for the cold. It carries a golden record on its side, a disk filled with the sounds of our world, the sound of thunder, the sound of a kiss, the sound of a heartbeat. Even when its power finally runs out, even when the last instrument goes dark and the radio falls silent, Voyager will not stop. In the frictionless vacuum of space, Newton's laws will carry it forward. It will drift among the stars forever, a silent monument to the people who built it and the planet that launched it. It is a message in a bottle that will never sink. There is a lesson for us in Voyager's quiet journey. There comes a time when we too must shut down our systems. We cannot be on all the time. We cannot keep our cameras rolling, our heaters blasting, our processors running at full speed. To survive the long night, we must conserve our energy. We must turn off the lights. We must quiet the sensors. So do that now. Imagine you are Voyager. Turn off the camera of your eyes. Let the lids grow heavy and seal shut. Turn off the microphone of your ears. Let the sounds of the room fade into a meaningless hum. Turn off the heaters of your muscles. Let the tension drain away, leaving your limbs cool and heavy and relaxed. Turn off the processor of your mind. You do not need to analyze anything anymore. You do not need to calculate or plan, just drift. You are disconnected from the demands of the day, floating in your own quiet space. You are preserving your energy for the journey of tomorrow. But for now, the mission is simply to drift. And as you drift, feel the faint warmth of the sun one last time. We spoke of the sun's energy, of the fusion in the core. But think about the light itself, the ancient sunlight. The photons that warmed your face today began their journey in the sun's core hundreds of thousands of years ago. They fought their way to the surface, crossed the void, and landed on you. But that is not the end of the story. Light reflects. The sunlight that hits the earth reflects back out into space. The image of you walking down the street today, the image of you smiling or looking up at the sky, that image is made of light. And that light is traveling outwards right now. It is passing the moon. It is passing Mars. It will eventually pass Voyager. Your presence is radiating out into the universe. The moments of your life are not lost. They are expanding, traveling at the speed of light into the cosmos. The universe is holding on to your story. The silence of space is not an emptiness. It is a canvas, and you are painting it with your existence, even while you sleep, especially while you sleep. Because sleep is when we reconnect with the rhythm of the universe. When we are awake, we are busy with the rhythm of humanity, the clock, the traffic, the phone. But when we sleep, our breathing slows down to match the sway of the trees. Our heart rate slows down to match the tide. We return to the natural order. We return to the deep time of the rocks and the stars. Feel the bed beneath you. It is solid. It is supported by the floor, which is supported by the foundation, which is anchored in the earth. The earth is a massive sphere of rock and iron. It is heavy. It is stable. You are resting on a planet. Think of that. You are not just on a mattress. You are riding a planet. And this planet is held by the sun. And the sun is held by the galaxy. And the galaxy is drifting through the universe. You are being held by a chain of gravity that stretches across infinity. You cannot fall. You cannot be lost. You are exactly where you are meant to be. The stillness of the moon is within you now. The quiet drift of Voyager is within you now. The warmth of the ancient sun is within you now. The journey is complete. The exploration is over. The data has been gathered. The images have been seen. Now, the only task remaining is to integrate, to let all those vast, beautiful concepts settle into your dreams. Let the images blur. The rings of Saturn are just a soft, golden hoop. The diamond rain is just a glitter in the dark. The red dust of Mars is just a warm color behind your eyes. They are all fading into the velvet background of the night. The stars are dimming one by one, not because they are going out, but because you are no longer looking at them. You are looking inward, into your own dark, warm, private universe. There is a peace here that is yours alone, a quiet corner of the cosmos that no telescope can see, a place where the only gravity is the gentle pull of dreams. Drift deeper into this space, deeper and deeper, as we continue to float in this suspended state, drifting between the waking world and the velvet depth of sleep. Let us think about the invisible connections that hold the universe together. We often imagine space as a place of isolation, where planets drift alone in the dark. But in truth, the solar system is a place of profound partnership. It is a dance floor where every dancer knows their steps perfectly, guided by the silent music of gravity. Consider, for a moment, the relationship between Neptune and Pluto. We visited them earlier, the blue giant and the icy dwarf. From a distance, it might look like their paths are dangerous. Pluto's orbit is elongated and tilted, crossing inside the orbit of Neptune. In our human understanding of traffic and paths, this sounds like a collision waiting to happen, a cosmic crash in the dark. But the universe is far more elegant than that. These two worlds have been dancing together for billions of years, and they have never touched. They never will. They are locked in a gravitational resonance. It is a precise mathematical waltz. For every 3 times Neptune orbits the Sun, Pluto completes exactly 2 orbits. It is a rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Because of this perfect timing, whenever Pluto crosses into Neptune's lane, Neptune is always far away on the other side of the Sun. They are like 2 dancers swinging around a ballroom, always sensing where the other is. always leaving space, always maintaining a polite and graceful distance. There is a deep comfort in this. It reminds us that even when things seem chaotic or crossing, there is often a hidden order keeping us safe, a rhythm we cannot see, but which governs our movement, ensuring that we do not collide, that we have the space we need to travel our own path. This theme of hidden companionship exists closer to home, to let us drift back inward, toward the orbit of Earth. We tend to think of our planet as a solitary traveler, moving alone around the sun. We have our moon, of course, circling us. But in the path ahead of us and the path behind us, we are not entirely alone. Earth shares its orbit with orbital asteroids. These are small, shy companions. Some of them are called Trojan asteroids, lurking in stable pockets of gravity, known as Lagrange points. Imagine a river flowing in a circle. In this river, there are quiet eddies. Calm spots where the water does not push you forward or backward. In space, gravity creates similar calm spots. Here, small rocks and ancient debris can settle. They hover there, traveling at the same speed as Earth, locked in a gravitational embrace with us and the sun. They are not moons, for they do not circle us. They are fellow travelers. They drift ahead of us like scouts, or follow behind us like silent guardians. Some of them follow strange, horseshoe-shaped paths, looping gently toward us and then drifting away, playing a game of cosmic tag that lasts for centuries. They are invisible to the naked eye, too small and dark to be seen from your backyard, but they are there. It is a lovely thought to hold as you lie in bed. Even the Earth itself is not lonely. It has an entourage. It has a flock. We are moving through space in a quiet convoy, surrounded by these tiny, ancient stones that have journeyed with us for eons. Let us turn our gaze now to the center of it all, to the conductor of this orchestra, the sun we spoke of, its light and its heat. But the sun also has a rhythm of its own, a cycle that unfolds slowly over time. It is not just a burning ball of fire. It is a breathing, magnetic creature. Every 11 years, the sun undergoes a transformation. It is called the solar cycle. Imagine a heartbeat that takes a decade to beat once. At the beginning of the cycle, the sun is quiet. Its surface is smooth and unblemished. The solar wind, that stream of particles blowing out into the systems, calm and steady. This is called solar minimum. It is a time of magnetic rest. Then, slowly, over the years, the sun wakes up. Magnetic knots begin to form deep inside, rising to the surface to create sunspots, cool, dark islands in the sea of fire. The sun's atmosphere, the corona, grows brighter and more complex. The streamers of light that flow from it become twisted and beautiful. This is solar maximum. And then, in a moment of supreme elegance, the sun does something extraordinary. It flips. Its magnetic poles reverse. The North Pole becomes the South, and the South becomes the North. The entire magnetic field of the star turns over. It is a massive, system-wide reset. And then, the activity begins to fade. The sunspots dissolve. The storms quiet down, and the sun returns to its slumber, sliding back toward the minimum. This cycle has happened over and over again for billions of years. A slow, rhythmic breathing. Inhale, exhale, polarity flip, repeat. It affects everything. It changes the shape of the aurora on Earth. It changes the distance the solar wind reaches into the galaxy. It is a pulse that ripples out past Pluto, past the comets, touching the very edge of interstellar space. You are living inside this heartbeat. Right now, as you sleep, the sun is slowly moving through its cycle, marking the passage of cosmic time. It is a clock that does not tick. It flows. And speaking of flowing, let us visualize the medium we are traveling through. We mentioned before that the solar system is moving through a cloud. Let's deepen that image, the local interstellar cloud. Imagine you are on a ship at sea at night. The water around you is dark and smooth. That is the vacuum of space. But even the clearest water has mist. Our solar system is sailing through a wisp of galactic gas, about 30 light-years wide. It is incredibly thin, fainter than the finest smoke, but it is there. As the sun moves through it, carrying all the planets with it, it creates a wake. Just like a boat pushing through water creates a bow wave, our sun creates a bow shock or a bow wave in front of it. The solar wind pushes out and the interstellar cloud pushes back. Visualize this protective bubble, the heliosphere. Inside the bubble, it is warm and dry. The planets are safe. The solar wind fills the space like a warm breeze. Outside the bubble, the cold winds of the galaxy are streaming past. We are in a submarine of light, submerged in an ocean of stars. This bubble is our house. It is the definition of home on a galactic scale, and it is huge. It takes light hours to cross it, but compared to the galaxy, it is tiny. This contrast between the tiny and the vast is where relaxation lies. When you realize how small we are, your problems become small too. The deadline that seems so important, the awkward conversation, the list of chores, they dissolve when placed against the backdrop of a star sailing through a galactic cloud. Let them dissolve. Let them float away like dust motes caught in the solar wind, carried out to the edge of the system and released into the void. You do not need them tonight. Let us drift back down to the specific, quiet beauty of our own world's geology. We often look up for wonder, but there is deep peace in looking down. Earth is the densest planet in the solar system. It is packed. Iron, nickel, silicon, rock. It is a solid, heavy ball. This density is what gives us our gravity. It is what holds you to your bed. But Earth is also fluid. Deep beneath the crust you are resting on, the mantle is moving. It moves with the slowness of a geological dream. Hot rock rises, cools, and sinks, a cycle that takes millions of years. This slow churning is what drives the tectonic plates. We often think of earthquakes as violent, but tonight, think of the plate tectonics as a sign of life. Earth is the only planet in the solar system that recycles its crust in this way. Mars is frozen in place. Mercury is shrinking as it cools. But Earth is dynamic. It is reshaping itself. Mountains are slowly rising, millimeter by millimeter, silent and unnoticed in the dark. Valleys are widening. Continents are drifting. North America, where you might be, is moving away from Europe at about the speed your fingernails grow. It is a movement so slow, it feels like stillness. But it is there, a constant, gentle drift. This means the ground beneath you is not static. It is a raft. You are floating on a raft of rock, which is floating on a sea of hot stone, which is spinning in the dark, which is orbiting a star. which is sailing through a cloud, layers upon layers of movement. And yet, in your room, everything is still. The glass of water on your nightstand does not tremble. The shadows on the wall do not shake. The physics of the universe cancel each other out to give you this moment of peace. The gravity holds you down. The friction holds the furniture in place. The atmosphere holds the pressure steady. It is a miracle of balance. Take a deep breath and appreciate the stability of your room. It is a sanctuary engineered by nature. As we hover in this thought, let us revisit the ghostly exosphere of Mercury one more time. But bring that concept to Earth. Earth too has an exosphere. The atmosphere does not just end at a hard line. It fades, it feathers out. Thousands of kilometers above you, the air is so thin it is technically a vacuum. But hydrogen atoms from Earth's atmosphere are still there, wandering. They form a vast, invisible cloud of hydrogen called the geosphere. This cloud glows faintly in ultraviolet light. If you were an alien astronomer looking at Earth from the moon with special eyes, you would see the blue marble of Earth wrapped in a large, glowing halo of hydrogen. This halo extends far out into space. Some scientists say it reaches almost to the moon. This means the moon is essentially flying through the outer edges of Earth's atmosphere. We are touching our companion. We are not separated by empty space. We are connected by this thin, tenuous breath of hydrogen. It is a soft embrace. Earth reaching out to hold the moon, and the moon reaching back with its gravity to pull the tides. Everything is touching everything else. There are no gaps. There is no true emptiness. There is only the medium of connection. Feel that connection now. Feel the air touching your skin. That air is connected to the air outside your window, which is connected to the clouds, which is connected to the upper atmosphere, which is connected to the which touches the solar wind, which touches the sun. You are physically touching the sun through this long, unbroken chain of atoms and forces. You are plugged into the circuit of the solar system. You can draw power from it, or you can discharge your energy into it. Tonight, let us discharge. Let the static electricity of your day flow out of you. Send it up the chain. Let it dissipate into the magnetosphere. Let the aurora burn it up into harmless light. You are becoming neutral. You are becoming grounded. There is a concept in astronomy called thermal inertia. It is the ability of a material to store heat and release it slowly. Rocks have high thermal inertia. They bake in the sun all day, and then, at night, they stay warm for a long time, releasing that gentle heat into the cool air. Imagine you are like a sun-warmed stone. You have absorbed the experiences of the day, and now, in the cool of the night, you are slowly releasing them. You are cooling down. The heat is leaving your mind. The heat is leaving your shoulders. The heat is leaving your hands. You are returning to a comfortable, cool equilibrium. In the solar system, the coolest places are often the most preserved. The ice in the craters of Mercury, the frozen heart of Pluto, the rings of Saturn. Cold is preservation. Cold is stillness. Let your mind find a cool, quiet place to rest. Maybe it is on that ridge on Europa, overlooking the fractured ice. Maybe it is drifting in the shadow of Saturn's rings. Maybe it is simply here in the cool sheets of your bed. Wherever it is, go there, settle in. The universe is vast, but tonight it is also very soft. The universe has a way of finding peace after chaos. It is a lesson written in the very stones orbiting above our heads. Let us return our focus to the moon, that faithful silver companion we touched upon earlier. It hangs there so serenely, pouring its cool light into your window, a symbol of quiet and stability. But it was not always there. Long ago, in the very early chapters of the solar system's history, the Earth was alone. It was a young, molten world, spinning rapidly in the dark. And then there was a meeting. A Mars-sized wanderer, a planet that astronomers have named Thy, crossed paths with Earth. It was a collision, yes, but in the slow, deep time of geology, we can see it as a merging, a transformative embrace. Debris was cast out into the blackness, forming a ring of hot dust and rock around our world. It must have been a spectacular sight, a glowing halo circling the young Earth, brighter than any dawn. But gravity is a patient artist. Over time, it began to gather the pieces. It smoothed out the chaos. It pulled the dust motes together, one by one, whispering to them to come closer. The ring condensed. The fires cooled. And from that scattered debris, a single, beautiful sphere emerged. The moon, it is a child of the Earth, born from a moment of intense change, yet it became the very thing that keeps us steady. It slowed our spin. It tamed. It gave us the rhythm of the tides. It reminds us that even after the greatest upheavals, things can settle into a new, beautiful form. Peace can be built from the pieces of the past. Now, consider how it moves. The moon is tidally locked to Earth. This means it spins on its axis at the exact same speed that it orbits us. The result is that it always shows us the same face. When you look up at the man in the moon, or the rabbit in the moon, you are looking at the same landscape that your ancestors saw 1,000 years ago. The moon never turns its back on us. It is engaged in a permanent, face-to-face dance with Earth. It is a gaze that never wavers, a symbol of undivided attention in a universe that is often distracted. But the solar system is vast, and not every moon follows the same rules. Let us drift outward again, past the asteroid belt, past the giants, to the deep blue realm of Neptune. Here, we find a rebel, a moon named Triton. Most moons in the solar system orbit their planets in the same direction that the planet spins a harmonious, synchronized flow. But Triton is different. Triton orbits backward. It moves in retrograde, sailing against the current of Neptune's rotation. This tells us a story. Triton was not born alongside Neptune. It was not formed from the same dust cloud. It was a wanderer. It was likely a dwarf planet from the Kuiper Belt, a cousin of Pluto, drifting alone in the dark. And then, eons ago, it passed too close to Neptune. It felt the pull of the giant blue world. It was captured. It slowed down and entered into a new life, circling a new master. The capture might have been dramatic, but the result is a stable, quiet orbit. Triton is a survivor. It is a world of nitrogen ice, so cold that the air freezes and falls as snow. And yet, it is alive. On its surface, there are geysers, not of water, like on Earth, but of nitrogen gas. They erupt silently into the thin atmosphere, carrying dark dust with them, creating streaks on the icy surface. These plumes rise 8 kilometers high, drifting in the weak winds. Imagine standing on Triton. The sun is just a bright star, casting a twilight glow over the pinkish ice. Neptune hangs in the sky, a massive blue orb, 14 times larger than the full moon looks from Earth. It is a view of breathtaking, alien beauty. A captured moon walking backward through the sky, proving that you can go against the grain and still find a place to belong. Now, let us fly inward to a world that is the opposite of Triton's cold. Let us visit Io, the innermost of Jupiter's large moons. If Europa is a world of ice, Io is a world of fire. It is the most volcanic place in the solar system. But do not think of danger. Think of creativity. Io is constantly remaking itself. It is covered in volcanoes that erupt regularly, spewing fountains of molten sulfur and rock hundreds of kilometers into space. Because of this constant resurfacing, Io has no impact craters. Every time a meteorite hits it, the scar is soon covered by a fresh layer of lava. It is a world without a memory of its wounds. It heals itself over and over again. The colors of Io are vivid yellow, orange, red, black, painted by the sulfur compounds. It looks like a jewel, a piece of modern art suspended against the backdrop of Jupiter's striped clouds. The engine of this activity is gravity. Io is caught in a tug-of-war. Jupiter pulls it one way, and the outer moons Europa and Ganymede pull it the other. This rhythmic tugging squeezes and stretches the moon like a stress ball. This friction creates heat deep inside. It is a reminder that pressure can create energy, that being pulled in different directions can result in a vibrant, colorful existence. Even the stress of orbit can be transformed into a fountain of light. And what of the source of all this light? The sun itself. We often fear the end of things. We fear the dark, but the story of the sun's future is not a tragedy. It is a gentle transformation. Stars like our sun do not die in violent explosions. They do not become black holes that swallow everything. They are too modest for that. Billions of years from now, when the sun has used up its fuel, it will expand. It will become a red giant, glowing with a soft, ruddy light. And then it will gently shed its outer layers. It will puff them out into space, creating a beautiful shell of glowing gas called a planetary nebula. These nebulae are some of the most beautiful objects in the galaxy clouds of green and pink and blue, expanding silently into the void. And in the center, the core of the sun will remain. It will shrink down, becoming incredibly dense, about the size of the Earth. It will become a white dwarf. A white dwarf is a diamond in the sky. It is no longer burning fuel. It is simply glowing with stored heat. It is a cosmic ember. Our sun will spend the rest of eternity as this quiet, white star. It will slowly, over trillions of years, fade from white to yellow to red and finally to black. It will watch over the remnants of its system for longer than the current age of the universe. There is a profound peace in that destiny, to burn bright, to give life, to shed what is no longer needed, and then to rest. To simply glow in the dark, a silent witness to the passage of eternity. This is the long game of the universe. Nothing is destroyed. It just changes form. The fire becomes a crystal. The star becomes a jewel. The chaos becomes a moon. Let these vast timescales settle your mind. We humans live in minutes and hours. We stress about being 5 minutes late. But the universe operates in epochs. The sun has been burning for 4.5 billion years. It has another 5 billion years to go before it even begins to change. There is so much time. There is enough time for everything. You do not need to solve your life tonight. You do not need to figure out the next 5 years or even the next 5 days. You only need to be here in this minute, which is just a tiny, microscopic beat in the cosmic rhythm. Let us return to the feeling of weight. We have talked about gravity as a force that moves planets, that squeezes moons, that holds atmospheres. But gravity is also a hug. Feel it holding your body. It is constant. It does not waver. You don't have to hold on to the bed. The earth is holding on to you. You can let go of your muscles. Imagine your muscles are like the ice on your rigid, holding tension. Now, imagine warmth seeping into them. Like the tidal heating of Io, the tension melts. The ice turns to water. Your muscles turn to liquid. They flow, they settle. Your back spreads out against the mattress. Your legs feel heavy and long. Your hands curl naturally, empty of tasks. The room is still. The house is still. The street is still. But outside, the great motion continues. The earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, but it carries you so smoothly, you don't spill a drop of tea. The solar system is racing through the galaxy, but the stars look fixed and calm. This is the paradox of peace. It is sustained by motion. You can rest because the universe is working. You can sleep because the stars are keeping watch. Let us drift back to the idea of the shepherd moons of Saturn. We mentioned them teeny moons that keep the rings in line. Imagine you have your own shepherd moons, little guardians of your sleep. Maybe one is named Silence. It gently pushes away the noise of the outside world. Maybe one is named Stillness. It keeps your body calm. Maybe one is named Shadow. It dims the lights behind your eyelids. They are orbiting you right now, cleaning up the debris of the day, creating a clear, smooth path for your dreams. And what about the dust? We spoke of cosmic dust, the tiny grains that float between the planets. Did you know that every day Earth sweeps up tons of this dust? As our planet moves through space, it collects these microscopic particles. They fall through the atmosphere. Most of them burn up as shooting stars, brief flashes of glory. But some of them drift down gently, landing on our roofs, on our leaves, in our hair. You might have a speck of stardust on your windowsill right now, a tiny piece of an asteroid or a comet that has traveled billions of miles to land at your house. It is a gift from the void, a reminder that we are not separate from the sky. We are living in it. The roof of your house is just a thin shell. If you could see through it, you would see the Milky Way arching over you like a spine of light. Billions of stars, each one a sun, each one perhaps holding its own family of planets. Maybe on one of those planets, billions of miles away, there is another being lying down to rest, looking up at a strange moon, wondering if anyone else is out there, wondering if they are alone. You can send a thought to them across the darkness. Good night, a silent signal. It passes Voyager. It passes the Oort cloud. It travels at the speed of light. We are all sleepers under the same vast canopy. We are all drifting on our own rafts of rock, but we are drifting in the same ocean. The water of that ocean is dark and deep. It is the water of space. But it is not cold water. It is like a warm bath, buoyant, supportive. You are floating in it. The bed has dissolved. The room has dissolved. You are just a consciousness floating in the warm, dark nebula of sleep. Colors form and fade behind your eyes. Soft purples, deep indigo. The colors of the outer planets, the colors of twilight. Your breath is the wind on Neptune, slow, deep. Your heart is the core of the earth, steady, warm. Your dreams are the comets, bright, free, wandering. There is nothing left to do. The story has been told. The facts have been gathered. The science has been softened into a lullaby. Now there is only the drift, the slow, spiral drift toward the center, toward the quiet. Let go of the words now. Let them become just sound, just a vibration, like the sun's song, a low, steady hum, humming you to sleep. In the quiet archives of the solar system, nothing is ever truly forgotten. We have spoken of the planets and the moons, the large and the loud, but there are smaller stories here too. Stories locked inside stones that have been drifting for eons. Let us return to the vast, open ocean between Mars and Jupiter, the asteroid belt. Earlier, we passed Ceres, the queen of this region. But there is another world here, one that tells a story of a beginning that never quite found its end. Vesta. It is the second largest object in the belt, but it is not just a lumpy rock. Vesta is a protoplanet. It is a planetary embryo. Billions of years ago, it started to form, just like Earth did. It grew hot, it melted, it separated into a dense metallic core, a mantle, and a crust. It was on its way to becoming a full-sized world. But then Jupiter formed nearby. The massive gravity of the gas giant stirred up the neighborhood, halting Vesta's growth. The process stopped. Vesta froze in time. Imagine this world suspended in the dark. It is a fossil of the early solar system, a baby planet that never grew up. It has a massive crater at its south pole, a scar from a collision that happened so long ago it has become part of the planet's shape. There is a piece in Vesta's story. It reminds us that not everything needs to be finished to be beautiful. Not every seed needs to become a tree. Some things are meant to remain in the stage of becoming. Vesta is a perfect, frozen snapshot of potential. It drifts in its orbit, content in its incomplete state, a silent monument to the chaotic days of creation. And sometimes, pieces of these worlds come to us. Think of the journey of a meteorite, specifically a rock from Mars. Millions of years ago, an asteroid struck the surface of Mars. The impact was powerful, blasting debris high into the pink Martian sky. Some of those rocks were moving so fast they escaped the planet's gravity. They left home. For eons, they floated in the void, silent travelers, tumbling through the dark. And then, gravity caught them again. Not the gravity of Mars, but the gravity of Earth. They fell through our atmosphere, burning as bright streaks of fire, and landed in the deserts of Africa or the ice fields of Antarctica. Scientists have found these stones. They have analyzed the tiny bubbles of gas trapped inside them and found that it matches the atmosphere of Mars perfectly. Think about that connection. A piece of another world sitting right here on ours. A physical letter sent across the cosmic ocean. It tells us that the planets are not isolated islands. They exchange matter. They share history. We are touching Mars not just with our eyes, but with our hands. The solar system is woven together by these invisible threads of exchange, and it is also woven together by invisible fields. Let us turn our attention back to Jupiter for a moment. We spoke of its storms, but there is something even larger than the planet itself surrounding it, the magnetosphere. If you could see magnetic fields with your naked eye, if they glowed in the night sky, Jupiter's magnetic field would be the largest object in the heavens. It would look larger than the full moon. It is a colossal bubble of magnetic influence, extending millions of kilometers into space. It is generated by the deep, churning metallic hydrogen inside the planet. This field is a shield, but it is also a trap. It catches charged particles from the sun and from the volcanoes of Io, accelerating them, creating radiation belts of immense power. But from a distance, safely outside the danger zones, we can see it as a vast, protective cloak. It deflects the solar wind. It creates a space around the planet that is defined by Jupiter's rules. Inside this magnetic cathedral, there is a phenomenon that is both strange and incredibly beautiful: the aurora of Jupiter. On Earth, auroras are transient. They come and go with the solar storms. But on Jupiter, the auroras never stop. They are permanent halos of electric blue light crowning the north and south poles. They are thousands of times brighter than the northern lights on Earth. They are powered not just by the sun, but by the spin of the planet itself and the volcanic breath of Io. It is a constant light show, playing to an empty audience in the dark, a crown of light that the king of planets wears at all times. Imagine drifting above Jupiter's north pole. Below you, the clouds swirl, and around you, the sky is alive with silent, shimmering curtains of ultraviolet light. It is a place of high energy, yes, but also of high beauty, a reminder that even in the vacuum, there is electricity. There is life of a sort. Now, let us hop to the other giant, Saturn. We drift to its north pole, looking down, and here we see something that defies all our expectations of chaos: the hexagon. At the very top of Saturn, the clouds do not swirl in circles. They form a perfect six-sided shape, a hexagon. It is huge, wider than two Earths, and it is precise. The straight lines of the hexagon are formed by jet streams blowing at hundreds of kilometers per hour. Inside this geometric frame, the storms rotate, but the frame itself holds steady. It has been there since we first saw it with the Voyager spacecraft. It has survived for decades, perhaps centuries. In a universe that is usually defined by curves, orbits, spheres, spirals, to see a sharp-edged polygon is startling. It looks artificial. It looks engineered, but it is natural. It is a result of fluid dynamics, a harmonic resonance of the atmosphere. It is nature finding order in the chaos. It is the atmosphere organizing itself into a stable, geometric meditation. Watch it spin slowly, the six sides turning in the golden twilight. It is hypnotic. It tells us that deep down, underneath the turbulence, there is a structure, there is a pattern. We are not just tumbling through random noise. We are part of a system that loves geometry. A system that creates snowflakes, honeycombs, and planetary storms with the same love for symmetry. Let that sense of order seep into your mind. If Saturn can find stability in the midst of its storms, so can you. If the clouds can organize themselves into a perfect shape, so can your thoughts. Let them align. Let them find their corners. Let them settle into a quiet, stable pattern. We are moving inward again, past the rocks, past the giants, drawn back to the source. The sun we have avoided getting too close for fear of the heat, but tonight we have a guide. A small, brave spacecraft named the Parker Solar Probe. It was launched to do the impossible, to touch the sun. It is the fastest object ever built by humans. Diving into the sun's atmosphere at hundreds of thousands of kilometers per hour. It carries a thick heat shield, a parasol of carbon composite that keeps its instruments in cool shadow, while the front face endures temperatures of over 1,000 degrees. Why do we go there? To solve a mystery. The mystery of the corona. The surface of the sun is hot about 5,500 degrees. That is incredibly hot. But strangely, as you move away from the surface, into the sun's outer atmosphere, the corona, the temperature does not drop, it skyrockets. The corona is millions of degrees hot. It is like walking away from a campfire and feeling it get hotter the further you go. It defies intuition. Scientists believe it has to do with magnetic waves, invisible ripples of energy transferring heat from deep inside the sun out to the halo. But tonight, let's not worry about the physics. Let's look at the beauty of the corona. During a total solar eclipse on Earth, when the moon covers the face of the sun, we can see it, a pearly white halo surrounding the black disk of the moon. It looks like a crown. It looks like wisps of white silk streaming out into the darkness. This is the sun's atmosphere. It is ethereal. It is ghostly. And the Parker Solar Probe is flying through it right now. It is sailing through these streamers of plasma. It is touching the star that gives us life. Imagine being that probe, safe behind your shield, in the shadow. You are close to the fire, but you are not burning. You are simply observing. You are floating in the heart of the system, witnessing the machinery of the stars up close. There is a powerful silence here, too. The sun is not roaring like a bonfire. In space, there is no sound. The fusion, the flares, the massive loops of plasmidol happens in absolute silence. A silent power. That is the energy we want to borrow for sleep. You do not need to be loud to be strong. You do not need to be busy to be powerful. The sun holds the entire solar system together without saying a word. It just is. It just burns. It just shines. You can just be, too. As we drift away from the sun, shielded by distance once again, we notice the flow of the solar wind. It is a stream of particles, protons and electrons flowing out from the corona. It washes over the planets like a river. It creates the tails of comets. It creates the auroras on Earth and Jupiter. It inflates the heliosphere. It is a constant outward breath. The sun is exhaling. Let your breath match this flow. Exhale. Send your breath out into the room. Imagine it joining the solar wind, a tiny current in the great river of the cosmos. Drifting back past Mercury, past Venus, we see Earth again. But this time, let's look at the Goldilocks zone. This is the habitable zone, the region around a star where it is not too hot and not too cold, but just right for liquid water. Earth sits comfortably in the middle of this zone. Mars is on the cold outer edge. Venus is on the hot inner edge. We are in the sweet spot. the just right spot. There is a feeling of deep rightness about this. It is not an accident that you are here. The universe has calibrated this distance perfectly. You are in the comfortable zone. You are not freezing in the void. You are not burning in the corona. You are here, in the soft, temperate embrace of Earth. Your bed is your personal Goldilocks zone. It is not too hard. It is not too soft. The blanket is not too heavy. It is not too light. The temperature is just right. Savor that feeling, the feeling of fit. You fit here. You belong here. As we hover near Earth, looking down at the Pacific Ocean, we see the reflection of the moon on the water, a long, shimmering path of silver light. It looks like a bridge from the dark water to the bright moon. Sleep is a bridge, too. A bridge from the activity of the day to the renewal of tomorrow. You are stepping onto that bridge now. The water below is calm. The sky above is clear. The path is illuminated. There are no obstacles. You can walk across it slowly, or you can lie down on the bridge and let it carry you. The solar system is a place of circles, orbits, rotations, cycles. Circles are comforting because they have no sharp edges. They have no end. They just flow. Your sleep is part of a circle. You wake, you live, you rest. You wake, you live, you rest. It is a rhythm as old as the rotation of the earth. You do not need to force it. The earth will turn, bringing the sun back to your window in the morning. You don't have to make it happen. You can trust the rotation. Trust the turning of the world. Trust that while you close your eyes, the planets will stay in their lanes. The gravity will hold. The sun will shine. The moon will watch. Everything is managed. Everything is under control. You are off duty. Let the feeling of responsibility slide off your shoulders like a heavy coat. Let it drop to the floor. You are lighter now, floating, drifting, ready for the final leg of our journey, ready to go deeper into the quiet, deeper into the blue, deeper into the rest that has been waiting for you all along. In the deep stillness of the night, even the most constant things are changing. We look at the moon and see a faithful companion, always there, always watching. But there is a secret in its orbit. The moon is leaving us. It is happening very slowly. Every year, the moon drifts about 3.8 centimeters farther away from Earth. It is roughly the speed at which your fingernails grow. A tiny, imperceptible shift. Billions of years ago, when the moon was young, it was much closer. It would have loomed huge in the prehistoric sky, a giant silver disk driving tides that were wild and high. But as the eons have passed, the tidal interactions, the very gravitational dance between the oceans and the moon, have pushed it slightly outward. It is a slow retreat, a long goodbye that takes billions of years to say. In the far distant future, the moon will be so far away that it will appear smaller in the sky. It will be too small to cover the sun completely, meaning that total solar eclipses, those moments of perfect alignment, will no longer be possible. We are living in a special time, a fleeting window in cosmic history where the moon and the sun appear to be exactly the same size. There is a lesson in this slow drifting. It teaches us that it is natural for things to change distance. Relationships change. People move. Phases of life drift away like the moon in the night sky. But this drifting is not a rejection. It is simply the physics of growth. It is the natural expansion of the universe. We can love the moon even as it leaves. We can appreciate the moment we have right now, this perfect alignment, without clinging to it. We can let it drift, trusting that the gravity between us is still strong enough to keep us connected in the dark. Let this permission to let go wash over you. Let go of the need to keep everything close. Let go of the need to freeze time. Let things drift. Let them move at their own pace, 3.8 centimeters at a time. As we accept this slow motion, let us travel back to Saturn for one specific, quiet detail we missed earlier. We spoke of the rings, but let's look closer into the gaps between the rings. There are tiny moons here, hidden in the ice. Pan and Daphnis. They are small, shaped a bit like ravioli or flying saucers. They orbit inside the gaps of the rings. And as they move, they do something extraordinary. They create waves. Because of their gravity, they pull on the particles of ice on either side of the gap. As they sail through, they create ripples in the ring edges, vertical waves that rise up like mountains of ice, casting long shadows across the rings. Imagine being there, watching a tiny moon glide silently through a sea of ice, leaving a wake of slow, majestic waves behind it. It is a cosmic ship sailing on a frozen ocean. These moons are sculptors. They are artists. They use gravity as their chisel, shaping the rings into beautiful, complex patterns. They remind us that even small things, small thoughts, small acts of kindness can create ripples that change the landscape around them. Your breath is like that moon. As you inhale and exhale, you are creating ripples of calm in your body. You are sculpting your own nervous system. With every slow breath, you are smoothing out the edges of your day, creating waves of relaxation that travel down your spine, out to your fingertips, and down to your toes. Let's bring our awareness back to Earth, to the one element that makes our home truly unique in the solar system: water. We have seen ice on Pluto. We have seen vapor on Venus. We have seen liquid methane on Titan. But Earth is the only place where water exists naturally in all three states at once: solid, liquid, gas, ice caps, oceans, clouds. They coexist in a beautiful, continuous cycle. The sun melts the ice. The water flows to the sea. The heat turns it to vapor. The vapor rises to become clouds. The clouds freeze into snow. The snow falls back to the ice. It is a circle of transformation. Water is the ultimate shapeshifter. It does not resist change. It becomes change. When it is cold, it becomes hard and strong. When it is warm, it becomes fluid and yielding. When it is hot, it becomes light and expansive. You are made mostly of water. This means you too have this capacity for transformation. Sometimes you need to be solid to stand your ground. Sometimes you need to flow to navigate the obstacles of life. And sometimes, like tonight, you need to be vapor. Imagine yourself evaporating, not in a scary way, but in a relieving way. The heaviness of your physical form is turning into mist. You are rising up from the bed, a cloud of consciousness, soft, formless, drifting. You can float through the ceiling. You can float through the roof. You are just a wisp of vapor in the night sky, held by the gentle gravity of the earth. And as you float there, consider what you are made of. Not just water, but stardust. It is a poetic phrase, but it is also a literal scientific fact. the nitrogen in your DNA, the calcium in your teeth, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your apple pile of it was made in the interiors of collapsing stars. Billions of years ago, ancient stars burned bright and hot. They fused atoms together in their cores. And when they reached the end of their lives, they exploded. They scattered these new elements across the galaxy. They sowed the seeds of life into the clouds of gas and dust. Our solar system formed from one of those clouds. The sun, the planets, and you are all made of recycled star stuff. You are the universe experiencing itself. You are a way for the cosmos to know itself. When you look up at the stars, you are not looking at strangers. You are looking at your ancestors. You are looking at where you came from. This removes the separation. You are not a tiny, isolated person on a rock. You are a piece of the galaxy that has woken up, looked around, and is now lying down to rest. You belong to this darkness. You are woven into this tapestry of light and gravity. Feel the iron in your blood responding to the magnetic field of the earth. Feel the water in your cells responding to the pull of the moon. Feel the heat in your body connecting you to the sun. You are home in every sense of the word. Now, let us begin the final descent. The journey is ending. The spacecraft of your mind is coming in for a landing. We are leaving the orbit. We are slowing down. Visualize a dimmer switch in your mind. It controls the brightness. Reach out and slowly turn it down. The bright glare of the sun fades to a soft orange glow. Turn it down more. It becomes a deep ember red. Turn it down more. It fades into the black. The stars are dimming. Sirius, Vega, Betelgeuse. One by one, they wink out, leaving only a soft, velvety darkness. The planets are slowing down. Jupiter's storms are quieting. Saturn's rings are stopping their spin. Mars is settling under a blanket of dust. The silence is growing deeper. It is filling the room. It is filling your mind. Let us do a final scan of the body, releasing the last bits of tension, treating them like asteroids drifting away. Focus on your feet. They have walked you through the day. They have carried your weight against gravity. Now they are weightless. Let them fall open. Let the toes relax. Imagine a wave of warm, dark water washing over them, soothing the muscles. Move up to your legs, your calves, your knees, your thighs. Large, strong muscles that do so much work. Tell them at ease, the mission is over. Let them sink into the mattress, heavy, warm, still. Move to your hips and your stomach, the center of your body. Let the breath soften this area. No holding, no tightening, just a soft, rhythmic rise and fall, like the tide on a calm beach. In, out, rising, falling. Move to your hands and arms. Let the fingers uncurl. Let the palms be open. They are not grasping anything. They are not typing or driving or carrying. They are empty. They are resting on the surface of your own private ocean. Move to your shoulders and neck. This is where we carry the weight of the world. Imagine someone gently lifting that weight off, taking the backpack of worries and setting it down outside the door. Your shoulders drop. Your neck lengthens. There is space now. Move to your face. The mask you wear for the world, let it melt. Unclench the jaw. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Soften the cheeks. smooth the forehead, and finally, the eyes, the windows to the universe. Let them rest in their sockets. Let the eyelids be heavy curtains, drawn shut against the light. Behind them, it is dark. It is cool. It is quiet. You are a planet in its night phase. The hustle of the day's side is gone. You are on the night side now, the quiet side. The radio signals are silent. The lights are out. Only the slow, steady rhythm of geology remains. The heartbeat, the breath. You are drifting in the great, wide safety of the solar system, protected by the sun's bubble, shielded by the Earth's field, watched by the moon. There is nothing to fear here, only space. Endless, beautiful, quiet space. You are free to float here as long as you like, to drift among the diamond rains and the icy rings, to visit the craters and the canyons, to be a traveler of the night. The stars are singing their silent song, a lullaby of gravity and light. Can you hear it? It is a low, steady hum, vibrating in your bones, vibrating in the bed. It says, sleep. It says, rest. It says, all is well. We are sailing through the cloud. We are moving toward tomorrow. But for now, there is only this moment, this breath, this silence. Good night, traveler. Good night, stardust. Good night. We have reached the quietest hour, the point in the journey where the miles fall away and only the destination remains. That destination is here. It is this breath. It is this deep, unbroken stillness. You have drifted through the canyons of Mars. You have floated in the mists of Titan. You have watched the diamonds rain fall in the dark heart of Neptune. And now you have returned. You have brought all that vastness back with you, tucked safely inside the pocket of your dreams. As you lie here, anchored by gravity and wrapped in warmth, let us offer a final thought to the night itself. The night is not merely an absence of light. It is a presence. It is a physical shadow cast by the earth as it turns its back to the sun. To be in the night is to be in the shade of a planet. Think of how comforting that is. You are resting in the cool shadow of your own world. The earth is blocking the blinding light of the star so that you can rest. It is a daily act of protection, a massive planetary shield raised just for you, so your eyes can close and your mind can wander. In this shadow, the air cools, the winds often die down, the birds stop singing, the flowers close their petals. The entire biosphere responds to the signal. Rest, it says. Recover. You are part of this biosphere. You are not a machine that runs 24 hours a day. You are a biological creature that blooms in the sun and folds in the dark. Honor that folding. Let your mind fold inward like the petals of a sleeping flower, layer by layer, covering the sensitive center, protecting the quiet core. Everything is slowing down now. The rhythm of the story is slowing. The rhythm of your thoughts is slowing. Let us take a moment to acknowledge the shepherd moons one last time, those tiny guardians in the rings of Saturn. Imagine that you have your own internal shepherds, gentle thoughts that are guiding you toward sleep. They are clearing the path. They are nudging away the debris of worry. They are keeping the ring of your peace smooth and unbroken. If a stray thought comes drifting in, a worry about tomorrow, a memory of yesterday, do not fight it. Just let your shepherd moon gently nudge it back into line. Not now, it whispers. Later now, is for drifting. The universe is patient. The stars will not burn out tonight. The planets will not lose their way. The galaxy will not stop turning. You do not need to hold it up. You do not need to supervise the rotation of the Earth. It has been turning perfectly for 4.5 billion years without your help. It will turn perfectly tonight while you sleep. You can resign from your post as the general manager of the universe. You can hand over the keys. You can take off the uniform. You are just a passenger tonight. And what a beautiful ship you are sailing on. This blue marble, this water world, drifting through the local interstellar cloud, sailing through the mist. Can you feel the motion? Not a shaking, not a vibration, but a deep, subtle flow, like a boat on a very deep, very calm river. You are moving toward the morning, but the morning is far away. There are thousands of miles of river to drift down before you reach the dawn. Enjoy the drift. Enjoy the darkness. It is a velvet darkness, soft, thick, warm. It wraps around your shoulders. It fills the spaces between your fingers. It soothes the backs of your eyes. Let us look at the diamond rain one last time in our mind's eye. But this time, imagine it is a rain of relaxation. Tiny, glittering crystals of calm, falling through the atmosphere of your mind, drifting down slowly, silently. They settle at the bottom of your consciousness, creating a layer of deep, sparkling peace, a reservoir of rest. And recall the ghostly exosphere, that thin, tenuous atmosphere where atoms dance without touching. Your thoughts are becoming like that, sparse, far apart, floating in a vacuum. They rarely collide, they just drift. One thought, and then silence. And then another thought, drifting away. There is so much space between them now. That space is sleep. Sleep is filling the gaps, expanding, taking over. The golden record on Voyager is silent now. It has played its song. It is spinning in the void, waiting for a listener that may not come for 1,000,000 years, but it is content. It holds its message, just as your heart holds your dreams. You don't need to broadcast right now. You don't need to explain yourself. You can just be a silent traveler, a golden record in the dark. The great red spot on Jupiter has been churning for centuries. But even storms have a center, the eye of the storm, the point of zero velocity, where the winds cancel each other out and everything is still. You are in that eye now. The world may be spinning around you. Life may be swirling. But in here, in this bed, in this breath, is calm, perfectly calm. The ice of Pluto, the heat of the sun, the rust of Mars, the blue of Neptune. All these colors are blending together, swirling into a soft, gray mist, the mist of sleep. It rises up to meet you. It smells like rain. It feels like a cloud. It sounds like a lullaby. Let yourself sink into it. You are heavy, so heavy, sinking through the mattress, sinking through the floor, sinking into the earth. You are grounded. You are safe. You are held. There is nothing left to learn tonight. There is nothing left to see. The museum of the solar system is closing. The lights are being turned off in the halls. The exhibits are going dark. Mercury is sleeping. Venus is sleeping. Earth is sleeping. Mars is sleeping. Jupiter is sleeping. Saturn is sleeping. Uranus is sleeping. Neptune is sleeping. Pluto is sleeping. And you are sleeping. You are joining the great quiet family of worlds, spinning in the dark, drifting in the mist. Listen to the silence. It is not empty, it is full of peace. It is the sound of the universe exhaling. Breathe with it. In, out, slower, deeper, softer. The edges of your body are dissolving. You are no longer a shape. You are just a warmth, a gentle point of awareness flickering in the night. And soon, even that flicker will fade, fading into the glow of the dream. Remember, the universe can wait until morning. The stars will hold their places. The sun will prepare the dawn. You don't need to do anything. Just let go. Let go of the day. Let go of the story. Let go of the words. There is only the drift now. The beautiful, silent, endless drift. Sleep well. Dream softly. Good night.